The future of artificial intelligence begins in places most people will never see. Not inside a chatbot, not inside a smartphone, not inside a futuristic robot. The real beginning is far less glamorous. A machine. A machine so complex that it requires an entire global industrial ecosystem to build. A machine capable of creating patterns so small that the human eye cannot see them. A machine that can cost hundreds of millions of dollars. A machine that takes years of engineering to develop. And a machine that sits at one of the narrowest points in the entire global technology system. This is an extreme ultraviolet lithography machine, and it is one of the most important pieces of infrastructure in the digital economy. Because every powerful AI system requires computation. Computation requires processors. Processors require semiconductors, and the most advanced semiconductors require the most advanced manufacturing technology on Earth. At the center of that technology is a company called ASML. It does not make the chips inside your phone. It does not design the world's most famous graphics processors. It does not operate the largest cloud platforms. But it builds the machines that make some of the world's most advanced chips possible. And this is where the architecture of power begins. Because the most important company in an industry is not always the company that sells the final product. Sometimes it is the company that controls the machine behind the machine.
Look at the semiconductor industry from the outside. It appears incredibly competitive. There are chip designers, chip manufacturers, cloud companies, consumer electronics companies, automotive companies, military contractors, artificial intelligence companies. Everywhere you look, there is competition. One company designs a processor, another company manufactures it. A third company integrates it into a data center. A fourth company builds the software that runs on top of it. The ecosystem appears fragmented, decentralized, global. But complex systems often create an illusion, the illusion that every layer is equally competitive. It is not, because the visible layer of an industry can contain hundreds of companies, while the invisible infrastructure beneath it may depend on only a handful. And at the most advanced edge of semiconductor manufacturing, the number becomes even smaller. The entire modern technology economy depends on the ability to create increasingly precise patterns on silicon. That process is called lithography. It is the process that transforms a flat wafer into a complex computational architecture. The smaller the patterns, the more transistors can fit onto a chip. The more transistors can fit onto a chip, the more computational power can be created in a smaller physical space. This is why advanced lithography is so important. It is not simply one step in the manufacturing process. It is one of the foundations of modern computing. And at the most advanced level, the system narrows dramatically. The competition does not disappear because demand disappears. It disappears because the technology becomes so difficult to replicate. And when an industry reaches that point, the company controlling the bottleneck gains a very different kind of power.
The semiconductor industry is a race towards smaller features, but smaller does not simply mean better engineering. At a certain point, the laws of physics begin to fight back. Traditional light becomes a limitation. The wavelength is too long. The patterns become too large. The precision is no longer sufficient. So the industry needed a different form of light, extreme ultraviolet light, EUV. Its wavelength is extraordinarily short enough to enable the creation of extremely fine patterns on silicon. But generating the light is only the beginning. The system must create the light, capture it, reflect it, focus it, position it, and project it onto a wafer with extraordinary precision. The light cannot simply travel through ordinary air. It is absorbed, so the process requires a vacuum. The system cannot rely on conventional lenses. It requires highly specialized mirrors. The mirrors must be manufactured with extreme precision. The wafer must move with extraordinary accuracy. The machine must coordinate thousands of components, and every part must operate as a single system. This is not a normal industrial machine. It is a convergence of physics, optics, software, robotics, material science, manufacturing, and logistics. The challenge is not solving one problem. The challenge is solving thousands of problems simultaneously, and then making those solutions work together at industrial scale. This is what creates the bottleneck. The technology is not difficult because one component is mysterious. It is difficult because the entire system is almost impossible to reproduce.
This is where most people misunderstand technological monopolies. They see a machine. Then they ask, why can another company not simply build the same machine? Because the machine is only the visible layer. Behind it is an ecosystem, specialized suppliers, precision optics, light sources, vacuum systems, sensors, control software, robotic platforms, advanced materials, manufacturing facilities, testing systems, engineering talent, and decades of accumulated knowledge. Each part of the system is difficult, but the real difficulty comes from making every part work together. One company may be capable of manufacturing a precision mirror. Another may be capable of building a laser. Another may be capable of developing advanced control software. But combining all of these systems into a commercial machine that can operate reliably, that is an entirely different challenge. This is the difference between a product and an architecture. A product can be copied. An architecture must be rebuilt. And rebuilding an architecture requires more than money. It requires time, industrial relationships, specialized talent, feedback from real-world operations, a deep understanding of how every component interacts with every other component. This is why some technological advantages become stronger over time. Every machine installed creates more data. Every customer creates more feedback. Every manufacturing cycle creates more learning. The system improves because the system is already operating. A new competitor begins with none of that. And that is the real moat. Not a single patent, not a single invention, but accumulated industrial intelligence.
The global semiconductor industry is not a flat marketplace. It is a pyramid. At the bottom, there are billions of devices: phones, cars, servers, medical systems, industrial machines, weapons, robots, and increasingly, artificial intelligence infrastructure. Above that layer are the companies that design chips. Above them are the companies that manufacture chips. Above them are the companies that provide specialized equipment. And as you move higher, the number of capable companies becomes smaller. The technology becomes more specialized. The capital requirements become larger, and the cost of failure becomes enormous. At the highest level of semiconductor manufacturing, the supply chain becomes extremely narrow. This is the structure of a choke point. The more advanced the final product becomes, the fewer companies can produce the infrastructure required to build it. This creates an important economic principle. The company selling the final product may capture enormous revenue, but the company controlling the bottleneck may possess something even more valuable: dependency. Because if a customer can switch suppliers, the supplier has competition. But if the customer cannot easily replace the supplier, the economics change. The relationship becomes structural. The company is no longer simply selling equipment. It is positioned inside the architecture of the entire industry. And when the world becomes more dependent on advanced computing, the value of that position increases.
The world is currently experiencing an artificial intelligence boom. But the word intelligence can make the technology sound abstract. The physical reality is different. AI requires computation. Computation requires processors. Processors require semiconductor manufacturing.
and semiconductor manufacturing requires increasingly advanced equipment. Every new generation of AI models demands more computing power, more training, more inference, more data centers, more energy, more advanced processors. This creates a physical chain beneath the digital economy. The AI revolution may appear to happen inside software, but the software eventually reaches hardware, and hardware eventually reaches manufacturing. The more powerful the model, the greater the computational demand. The greater the computational demand, the more valuable advanced chips become. And the more valuable advanced chips become, the more strategically important the manufacturing infrastructure becomes. This is why the semiconductor industry is now connected to almost every major technology trend on Earth: artificial intelligence, cloud computing, autonomous vehicles, robotics, scientific research, military systems, telecommunications, and national security. The visible product may change, the software may change, the company names may change, but the underlying requirement remains. The world needs more computation, and computation begins with physical infrastructure. That is the hidden layer of the AI economy. The algorithm is visible, the bottleneck is not.
When a technology becomes essential, it stops being merely commercial. It becomes strategic. Advanced semiconductors power artificial intelligence, supercomputers, military systems, telecommunications, scientific research, industrial automation, and the infrastructure of modern economies. This changes the meaning of the supply chain. A machine is no longer just a machine. A factory is no longer just a factory. A manufacturing capability can become a geopolitical asset, because countries do not simply want to buy advanced technology, they want access to the infrastructure that creates it. And if access becomes limited, the consequences can extend far beyond business. This is why semiconductor supply chains have become central to global competition. The system is distributed across countries. Design may happen in one location, manufacturing in another, equipment production in another. Materials may come from somewhere else entirely. The result is a global architecture of dependencies, and every dependency creates potential leverage. The country that controls a critical technology gains influence. The company that controls the technology gains strategic importance. This is the transformation of industrial capability into geopolitical power, and it is one of the defining economic stories of the modern era. The future is increasingly digital, but the infrastructure that creates the digital future is intensely physical, and whoever controls that physical infrastructure controls part of the future.
Most people recognize power when it is visible. A famous brand, a massive platform, a household product, a company used by millions of people. But the deepest forms of power are often invisible. They sit beneath the products that everyone recognizes. They do not compete for attention. They enable the competition. This creates a different type of monopoly, a monopoly of capability, a monopoly of complexity, a monopoly over a critical step that the rest of the industry cannot easily bypass. The company at the center of this kind of system may never become the most famous company in the world. Its logo may not appear on the final product. Consumers may never know its name, but the industry's most important companies may depend on it. This is infrastructure power. And infrastructure power operates differently from consumer power. A consumer brand must constantly persuade people to choose it. An infrastructure company may become embedded in the system itself. Once embedded, replacing it becomes extraordinarily expensive. The question is no longer, do customers like the product? The question becomes, can the entire architecture function without it? That is a much stronger position, because the most powerful monopoly may not be the company that owns the largest audience. It may be the company that owns the narrowest passage.
There is a difference between being difficult to compete with and being difficult to replace.
A competitor asks, can someone build a better product? A dependency asks, can the entire system function without this capability? These are not the same question. A company can lose market share and remain essential. A product can become less popular while the infrastructure beneath it remains indispensable. This is why the most powerful moats are often not visible in a traditional market share chart. The real moat may be the accumulated architecture, the engineering relationships, the specialized workforce, the supply network, the manufacturing knowledge, the data, the reliability, the time required to catch up, and the enormous cost of failure. A competitor does not simply need to build a machine. It needs to build an ecosystem capable of producing the machine. Then it needs to make that ecosystem reliable. Then it needs to improve it. Then it needs to convince the world's most advanced manufacturers to depend on it. That is not a normal startup challenge. It is an industrial civilization challenge. And this is why time becomes a strategic asset. The longer a system operates, the more knowledge it accumulates. The more knowledge it accumulates, the more difficult it becomes to reproduce. This creates a compounding advantage. Technology creates learning. Learning creates reliability. Reliability creates dependence. Dependence creates scale. And scale creates more learning. That is how an industrial moat becomes stronger over time.
The semiconductor industry reveals a much larger pattern. The future economy will not be controlled only by the companies with the biggest products. It will increasingly be shaped by the companies positioned at the narrowest points of the system. The bottlenecks, the standards, the protocols, the infrastructure, the specialized machines, the systems that cannot easily be replaced. This is the economics of the choke point. A company does not need to own the entire industry. It may only need to control the layer that the entire industry must pass through. This pattern exists everywhere, in technology, in energy, in finance, in logistics, in communications, and increasingly, in artificial intelligence. The visible economy may appear crowded. Millions of companies may compete, but beneath them, the infrastructure can become concentrated. The more complex the system becomes, the more valuable critical infrastructure becomes, because complexity creates dependencies, and dependencies create leverage. This is the paradox of technological progress. The world becomes more decentralized at the surface, while becoming more concentrated beneath it. More applications, more platforms, more devices, more companies, but fewer critical systems capable of supporting all of them. And that is where the architecture of wealth begins to change. Because wealth is not always captured where the final transaction happens. Sometimes it is captured at the layer that every transaction requires. The most valuable position may not be at the edge of the system, it may be at the bottleneck. The company that controls the product can make money from the product. The company that controls the infrastructure can make money from the entire ecosystem. That is a different scale of power. And as artificial intelligence expands, as computing demand accelerates, as semiconductor technology becomes more complex, the value of these choke points may continue to rise. The future will require more computation, more precision, more infrastructure, more coordination, and every new layer of complexity creates new potential dependencies. The question is not simply, who designs the most advanced chip? Who builds the most powerful AI model? Who owns the largest data center? The deeper question is, who controls the infrastructure that all of them need? Because the future does not belong only to the companies that create the most visible products. It belongs to the systems that make those products possible. And sometimes, the most powerful company in the entire room is the one nobody sees. Nixera, decoding systems, architecting wealth.